Good evening, ma'am. I request you, ma'am, to please share the screen.
Yeah.
A very good evening to one and all present here. I am Utkarsh Mittal, State Partnership Coordinator, SNAU, and your host for today. Thank you each and everybody for being here with us today. Today, on the occasion of World No Tobacco Day, the Student Network Organization Uttar Pradesh, in association with Bijbul, presents you to a webinar on the topic Say No to Tobacco, Say No to Oral Cancer, Say Yes to Holistic Health. First of all, I would like to introduce what is SNO all about. Student Network Organization is an independent body within the network TUFH, aiming to increase the student participation and career development opportunities through integrated participation in the network. Secondly, I would like to thank our associating partner for today, Bijbul. Bijbul is a novel and the only identified networking platform for the dental world communications. Since the dental community is significantly siloed and a niche community, technology hasn't made enormous strides in it. And a secure one-to-one communication platform doesn't exist. Bijbul aims to change this scenario and makes interactions in the dental world available at the tip of every faculty in the dentistry, be it a student, a dentist, a specialist, and a dental lab, or a dental dealer or manufacturer. I would like to welcome Dr. Naresh Reddy, sir, the Managing Director of Bijbul team, to say a few words. Over to you, sir. Sir, I would like to request you to please unmute the mic from your side. Thank you, sir.
Yes, yeah. I was trying to unmute from that time, but it's just showing me that host is not allowing you to unmute. Fine, fine. Hey, hi everyone. Hello, ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening.
This is Dr. Naresh Reddy. I've done my MDS in endodontics. So this to keep it simple and non-commercial, Bijbol is a dental ecosystem, and to understand the ecosystem, one should explore it. So we'll just drop a link in the chat section. You can just download the app and explore it. Thank you. And regarding this event, I really thank the SNO community for coming forward and performing this. Because as a student, when I was in my BDS or MDS, we used to just catch a placard and go into the town and do the slogans and all. But later after that, I didn't get any opportunity to do such things, or we are just busy with our dental life and all. So actually, Shashwat met me and he approached me with this oral cancer thing, which is more inclined to dentistry. So I thought, yeah, this is the opportunity for me to contribute a little bit for this thing. Yeah, thank you one and all. Thanks for the opportunity, guys.
Thank you, sir, for your kind words. Before start, I would like to thank Shashwat Sankit, the organizing chairperson, Anshli Adarsha, the organizing co-chairperson, Dr. Komal Singh, organizing secretary, for taking this initiative and organizing this event on No Tobacco Day. Now, starting with today's event, I would like to give a warm welcome to Dr. Gigi George Ma'am, Professor and Head, Department of Oral and Maxillofacial Pathology, VVD College of Dental Sciences, Lucknow.
Thank you.
As I mentioned earlier, Ma'am will be presenting the webinar on the topic Say No to Tobacco, Say No to Oral Cancer, and Say Yes to Holistic Health. All of you are requested to put your queries in the comment box, which would be discussed at the end of the session. Towards the end of the session, a Google form will be shared in the comment section for the attendance of the participants, and e-certificates will be given accordingly. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. I hope you can hear me. First of all, before starting, I would like to thank all the organizers of this webinar, and all of you who have kind of allowed me to be a part of this presentation. So today, we all know is World Tobacco Day, World No Tobacco Day, and this is a WHO's initiative to curb the pandemic of tobacco smoking. So it is a pandemic. I'll tell you why as we move ahead. So the theme for this year for on part of the World Health Organization is Commit to Quit. So that would be what we would speak today about. So this presentation comes to you from the Department of Oral Pathology, Babu Banarsidass College of Dental Sciences, Lucknow. So let's go ahead. Now, you all know that smoking is been an old tradition in India. So as the picture shows, cannabis smoking was very common in India since 2000 BC. And it was mentioned in Atharva Veda. So India was never new to smoking. So tobacco in the present form was brought to India by the Portuguese when they invaded certain sides of India, western coast, basically 400 years ago. So the Indian varieties of cannabis and crude tobacco were outclassed by the imported ones. So virtually every household in the Portuguese colony, that is the present-day Goa, took up the new fashion of smoking tobacco, which today, if you come to think about it, you go to Curly's, that's joined in Goa for that matter, you name a kind of smoke, cigarette, any sort of tobacco you want that's available, right? So that's how it kind of reached India. And later on, the British introduced modern commercially produced cigarette. And I don't know how many of you all are aware of the fact that cigarettes came into, the first commercial production of cigarettes came by a mass advertisement media, that is Camel cigarettes in 1913 by the United States of America. So that's about the history. So some interesting facts I would like to share. WHO says that more than 8 million people are killed per year because of tobacco, out of which 1 million belongs to India, which means that 12% of world smokers are from India. So India is the second largest consumer, second only to China. So I guess that again explains our population density with China again. So, but smokeless tobacco is interestingly more prevalent in India than in, the rest of the world. Because, but then, most of the studies are done on smoking types of tobacco than combustible tobacco than smokeless tobacco, because perhaps this is a habit which is more common in the underdeveloped countries or the developing countries like India, and not much research has gone into, this part. Another interesting stuff which I've figured out during my search for this presentation is that 50% of all the adults in India are exposed to secondhand smoke, that is passive smoking. So which means if 100 people are in a room, maybe not everybody smokes, but at least 50% are exposed to secondhand smoke or passive smoking, which has its own ill effects. So there were some studies which were done by the American Lung Association, which actually found that the American Indians and the Alaskan natives have the highest smoking rates and the highest smoking related death from heart disease and stroke. Now, you might ask me, how does that interest us? It does, because the US is made up of a country which are majorly composed of immigrant population. So Indians are the largest, or maybe the second largest after Chinese, in case of the immigrant population of the American state. So other than that, Alaskan natives, Alaska is a place where the climate itself is so cold. So perhaps that's the reason why uh, Alaskans have an increased, you know, propensity to smoke. But otherwise, in American Indians are the ones who have the highest smoking rate, and they are show the highest smoking related deaths, which means whether you smoke it in America or you smoke it sitting in India, you have a genetic susceptibility to increased maybe stroke and other cardiovascular incidents. So what's there in your cigarette? When you, most of you all must be smokers. So, or a few of you all at least must be smokers, must have smoked at some time in your lives. So what's there in your cigarette? Mostly one smokes for the psychostimulating effects which nicotine gives in. But other than that, did you even know that you have, hexamine chemicals which are seen in the barbecue lighters, or for that matter, methane, which is a gas which is seen in sewer canals, ammonia, which is used as a toilet cleaner. All these are very harmful chemicals, and they are present in the cigarette that you smoke every day. So this should be a deterrent enough to tell you, yes, you should not smoke. So what are the health effects of tobacco? You must have heard about a lot of health effects of tobacco. As you can see in the picture, it is very well clear that each and every cell of the human body is affected by tobacco. So, but then the tobacco related diseases, which are really commonly discussed, are cardiovascular diseases like, myocardial infarction, unstable angina, coronary bypass graft defects, atherosclerotic coronary cirrhosis. Atherosclerotic coronary cirrhosis is very common in India these days, in the young and the old, similarly. And the basic stress factor and tobacco are the basic etiological factors which are related to it. So a young person, if he's a smoker, and obviously everybody has stress these days. So these are two common problems that can give rise to, cardiovascular diseases. And the second dangerous disease category which we have is the chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Now, it consists of emphysema or chronic bronchitis or fibrosis of the lung and a lot of related diseases. Now, emphysema is, now these days, COVID also has given a lot of importance to emphysema. So if you look at medicine textbooks, you can actually see that the chronic bronchitis patients are called as blue bloaters, and emphysema patients are called as pink puffers. So what I mean is the emphysema patients, the pink puffers, actually, they have very less lung capacity. So what happens is the air which they take in gets entrapped in the terminal bronchioles and they don't come out. So as a result of which, they're unable to take new air inside. So they kind of have a forced of or labored breathing, and they're very thin and lanky figures. And you can see that they have a very prominent rib cage. They're very, very thin and very tall people with very prominent rib cages. So that's why they call us pink puffers. Chronic bronchitis, you can see patients everywhere, here and there. They're like a little fatter on the fatter side, a little edematous. The blue bloaters, and they have, they often cough out, pus-filled mucus. So it's a very common problem in India, mostly related to smoking. And another related factor is pollution these days. So as dentist, since I'm a dentist, I can talk about leukoplakia. So leukoplakia is any white patch in the oral cavity which is related to tobacco. So WHO says that it has to be related to tobacco. If no other etiology is there, you can eliminate everything else. But if it is really, if the person has a tobacco habit, it has to be called as a leukoplakia, which is now called as oral potentially malignant disorders. Other than that, you have carcinoma of the lung, bronchogenic carcinomas. You have carcinomas of the hypopharynx and the supraglottis, which can be due to BDs. I'll come to BDs later on. So you can also have oral and esophageal cancers due to chewing tobacco, because we have, as I said, we have a more prominent problem of tobacco chewing in India. Then we have the problem of cerebral stroke. You must have heard about cerebral stroke. There are two types of problems that are caused in the brain, basically because of tobacco. One is the cerebral infarction, and the other is subarachnoid hemorrhage. So and other than these few diseases, which I've kind of, these are life-threatening stuff. And other than that, some more diseases which are of importance in India is that it hikes the risk of innumerable diseases like TB. TB is endemic to India, tuberculosis. So we are raising a lot of hue and cry about COVID-19 these days, but TB kills more people than COVID has ever killed. So having said that, let's go to the next slide. These are the health effects of tobacco. So as a dentist, since I'm a maxillofacial pathologist, I can tell you more about dentistry. So a dentist will easily recognize a person's smoking status. So when we were, students, we used to have a lot of these engineering students coming into our colleges for, scaling, and they would just come and say, no, I don't smoke. So you must have also come across such students coming in, youngsters, 18, 19-year-olds, when they have to go home before a holiday, they would come and just ask you for a scaling. So you can look at their oral hygiene status and tell them that they cannot lie to you, because one, you cannot lie about your age to a dentist. Two, you cannot lie about your smoking status to a dentist, right? So what can help a dentist figure out if there is, the patient has a smoking habit? The discolorations of teeth and the restorations, the tooth would be immensely discolored, a hairy coated tongue. You can see it in the picture. You can see a black colored hairy tongue in this picture. So hairy tongue is very common in smokers. Then you can see the amount of periodontitis in this picture, the amount of inflammation of the gingiva, and you can see the poor oral hygiene. And this is a melanoplakia. Actually, most of the pictures, these three pictures are from the internet, but then, this is a patient's picture which had come to me for a consult. So this is a melanoplakia. So it's a leukoplakia. You can see that there's a white patch, but then at the same time, you can see a bit of pigmentation as well. So that's a melanoplakia, wherein there is pigmentation and the patient had tobacco habits. So what we do is we kind of tell them to stop the habit and keep the patient under follow-up, because this can go into a case of oral cancer later on. So, and the last picture which we have here is a smoker's palate. You can see prominent, minor salivary gland ducts over here, the red colored blotches that you can see here on the hard palate, the posterior hard palate, they are basically, prominent ducts of the minor salivary glands. Okay. So other than that, you can have oral candidiasis, fungal infection it is. Then you can have failed implants. Not only failed implants, you can also have failed hair transplants. So some of y'all must have started to lose hair. So when you start to lose hair in your early, when you become a young adult, so what you do is you go in for a hair transplant. So what the hair transplant doctor is going to first tell you is that you got to quit smoking. Because if you don't quit smoking, this picture shows what exactly happens to such people. Because he's hardly had, he must have spent a lot of money there, but he has hardly had any hair coming back to his, head. So other than that, for dentists, implant failures are very common. Without patient compliance, without patient quitting smoking, the implants are not going to stick, into the bone, howsoever good a work you do. So smoking is very important as a dentist. Now, I will not go into the details of leukoplakia. I'll just show you some pictures. So you can see that this is the floor of the mouth, and there's a white lesion on the floor of the mouth. So these small blebs, which you can see in the blue color, they are basically prominent veins. Okay, so they are not related to smoking. They are normal features. But then these kind of white lesions you can see on the floor of the mouth, because the patient must have had a habit of keeping a tobacco quid in the floor of the oral cavity, and or in the posterior region, behind the retromolar pad, you can see a white lesion out here. So why do they keep these quids underneath the tongue? Because floor of the mouth has a very thin epithelium, and it allows easy absorption of tobacco. So it's the same. It's a bane or a boon, because you give medicines like trinitrate for the cardiac patients to keep it under the tongue, because it gets absorbed very fast, and in case of a sudden cardiac arrest, you can help the patient to a certain degree. So the same things are the same concepts are used by people to use tobacco, and for that matter even other drugs. So and periodontitis, I've already told you, can see a furcation involvement there, so that means gingival recession can also happen because of tobacco. You can, then there's another habit called as reverse smoking. Reverse smoking is very prominent in certain parts of India, like, Goa, Orissa, and Andhra. All the three are coastal states where females, it's more common in females, where these females have the habit of keeping a lit cigarette end into the palate. Okay. So habitually, when they kind of do that habituatedly, they can have this kind of a lesion on the palate where first it will burn, then it can cause a scar, and later on it will break down into form a squamous cell carcinoma or a oral cancer. So that is also a very scary situation, where this is a very scary kind of a habit which is very prominent in some people, some coastal areas of India. So coming to the next lesion is oral submucous fibrosis, OSMF. So OSMF is I can say safely say that it's a disease of the Indian subcontinent, meaning to say that it's seen more in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, everywhere where, we use pan chewing as a habit. So this again is a picture which one of our students had shared with me from the clinic. This shows a hockey stick uvula. If you look at the uvula, you can actually carefully see that the uvula is hockey stick shaped, right? So hockey stick shaped uvula, it can cause trismus, difficulty in opening of the mouth, and later on it can kind of, give rise to an oral squamous cell carcinoma. So this is also a potentially malignant disorder which you have to be careful in your clinics. So the other most commonly seen disease is your oral cancer, also called as squamous cell carcinoma. So you can see a scary picture out there where it's an ulceroproliferative lesion, not only of the lip, but also of the, of the vestibule and the alveolar mucosa. So what happens is the gene coding for P53, that is your P53 is an oncosuppressor gene or a tumor suppressor gene. So they get mutated. So mutations are nothing but small chemical alterations which are seen in the gene, and they are stable and they get carried on to the next generation. So these tumor suppressor genes, when they are kind of, suppressed, so the tumor gets an easy way out to, increase in number. So these kind of scary pictures are also always seen when you go for a, movie, or in a movie hall. You can always see these kind of scary pictures, just to put that into people's brains not to smoke. So it by and large brings down a very poor quality of life. So this is again an internet picture which had gone viral a long time back. This is a baseball player, Rick Bender, in 2006 from Utah, in the US. So you can see that this patient has kind of undergone a radical neck dissection, and his mandible is almost removed. It's not there on one side. So you can see the poor quality of life. Now you would ask me, why did I particularly put this picture? Because there is a relationship of baseball to tobacco. I'll come to that later. All right. So another tumor is the Warthin's tumor, which is a bilateral tumor, and it is a diagnosis of exclusion. You would always see it exclusively in the parotid gland. I mean to say that it is not seen in any other gland, but it is seen in the parotid gland, just before, in front of your ear lobes. So you can see that swelling out here. So it's a bilateral swelling mostly, and it has a viral etiology as well. But then they say that smokers have 8-fold greater risk than non-smokers. So if you go back to your textbooks and check about Warthin's tumor, the other name of Warthin's tumor is papillary lymphomatosum. So there is a papillary cystadenoma lymphomatosum. So there is a component of lymphoid tissue in this tumor. So you might ask me, so it's a benign tumor, so how does it really matter? It does, because this same lymphoid tissue is later on going to, it can transform into lymphomas. So, and lymphoma, is a malignancy. So the patient might not survive, or, there are very less chances of survival. So which is why we have to be careful, even if it is a benign tumor like the Warthin's, all right? So another problem is faster aging. So you can see from the picture that a lot of wrinkles and appear on the face. So the person might not be as old as he looks to be, but smoking has its own ways of aging people. So there are also health effects of secondhand smoking or passive smoking. So lung cancer and cardiovascular risks I've already discussed. Otherwise, lower respiratory illness can be seen in infants and toddlers. Small children, what do? They kind of inhale all that ash and the, when you kind of put the ash into an ashtray, maybe you cannot see it with your naked eye. There are particulate matter which basically goes around in the room if you're smoking in a closed room. So if you have children at home and you're smoking at home, there are chances that they can take it into their lungs. Then you can have coughing and wheezing. There are so many people with asthma these days. A lot of small children have are asthmatic, not only maybe due to passive smoking, but also due to the environmental pollution. So just to show you another experience which I have seen, this is a HEPA filter from my friend's air purifier. So he has used it in his house in his drawing room for 3 months, and they're heavy smokers. So you can see that in 3 months how much black it has become. Yeah. So this is a normal HEPA filter before use. All right. So that is the kind of air pollution which the smoke is going to do, and that is what you are inhaling, or your lung is going to inhale over a period of time. So that shows you how dangerous it is. Now, while the effects of smoking can last for years together, the benefits of quitting tobacco can begin almost immediately. So what I mean to say is, keeping up with the theme of WHO's Anti-Tobacco Day 2021, it is commit to quit. Okay, so when you commit to quit, what happens? In the first 20 minutes, your blood pressure goes down, your heart rate goes down, hands and feet get warmer. So a habituated smoker might ask me, but I don't have high blood pressure, neither does my heart rate go high. My hands and feet don't get warm. That's because this doesn't happen overnight, because this is a very chronic habit and it doesn't happen overnight. So the effects also don't happen overnight. They're going to take time, right? So similarly, when they come down, you can actually, so they say that the day you stop smoking, each cell of your body is going to walk a step towards health. So after almost 5 years, you have the cervical cancer risk same as a non-smoker. Cervical cancers are very common in females, and female smokers are more kind of addicted to this habit, and they cannot they have withdrawal symptoms on a higher scale, and also they develop a lot of gynecological problems as well related to smoking. So all these things will come down. Stroke risk as same as a non-smoker, so that's going to cut your risk like crazy. So which is why you have to stop smoking. The day you stop smoking, from that moment onwards, your body starts walking or taking a step closer towards holistic health. Okay, so that's what the American Cancer Society says. So coming on to methods of tobacco use, all of you know that there are very common types of smoking. Combustible tobacco use, that is smoking tobacco, and non-combustible uses like snuff dipping, where you use the nasal mucosa to snort the tobacco, right? So because nasal mucosa again is going to be, it's going to be very easy for you to inhale the tobacco through the nasal mucosa. Then chewing, tobacco chewing, like your pan and betel quid and everything. And vaping is electronic cigarettes. I'll come to that later. And of course, passive smoking. It's a huge problem, right? So there are so many people who don't smoke. And why should we be the recipients of ill effects of smoking? So passive smoking has to be taken very seriously. So as you can see, manufactured cigarettes, I've not put a picture because it's very common, and this is a BD. So BD is this is a cottage industry which is very common in the southern part of India, and there are huge billionaires who have these factories of BDs, and it's a cottage industry. Basically, they employ women and children. So they just roll tobacco in this leaf that you can see here, and they have no filter. The cigarettes, they manufactured cigarettes, they say they have filters. And they say that they kind of cut down the amount of, ill effects of smoking to a large extent. All right. So these are roll your own cigarettes, very common these days among youngsters. They kind of roll it up with the rolling papers, and they say that very less amount of harmful ingredients are there in roll your own cigarettes. Okay. And these black ones are called as Critex. So these Critex are clove flavored cigarettes, which are very common in Indonesia. Basically, it had its origin in Indonesia, but these days it's very common in India as well. So the clove gives a very, it has got menthol. So it gives you a very, very nice, comfortable experience when you smoke the cigarette. It doesn't really, they say that it does not hit your throat. So it becomes very easier. So for an initial person, a beginner to smoke with these clove cigarettes or Critex. But to tell you the truth, these Critex, research says that these Critex are also equivalently dangerous as a BD or a cigarette, because they also have the same ingredients and they are also going to create the same problems. It is just that when you smoke it, you have a very nice feeling of, a cold, chilly feeling around your throat because of the menthol that it has. That's all. All right. Then you have pipes and water pipes. Water pipes are very common in India. That's called as hookah or shisha. All right. So I am not going to go into the details of these chewing tobaccos because it's very common in this part of the world. You can see the kind of choices which people have in chewing tobacco, and we are all familiar to these kind of shops. You can see that this fellow on the right has the arecanut leaves and the arecanut over there and beetle leaves over here. So he's ready to give you a custom made experience for pan chewing, and we must have all seen a lot of people standing in a line to get these things made, and it's a ritual for people, right? So and you can see onto the left there's a small boy trying to sell ready-made tobacco. So don't you think so? At this age, he must be hardly 7 or 8 years of age. Don't you think so? In his habit of sitting in that small little shop and selling these things, he would have an urge to taste one of them once in a while. So that is how he's also going to be a habitual tobacco user by the time he grows up. So coming back to baseball. So you thought tobacco chewing and these kind of pictures are very common in this part of the world. No, it is quite common in the US as well, in the Western parts as well. So baseball is a very favorite sport, a popular sport in the US. And till very recently, till I guess 2019, was when the New York County had to bring in a resolution saying that the people who chew tobacco will be banned from playing baseball, because they say that children, when they play baseball, they say that all the pros, all the acers of baseball, they chew tobacco. So if you want to be a pro like them, you need to chew tobacco. So it is not a very uncommon thing throughout the world. It is, and they have their own reasons. They say that it kind of keeps their mouth very moist in that long hours of game, which is why they chew during baseball. So whosoever chews, it has to give them a oral cancer. So this is the next habit. I was talking about vaping. Vaping is electronic cigarettes. You can see the different type of electronic cigarettes and the kind of smoke they're putting out. So this was banned in India in 2019. And why are they called vaping? Electronic cigarettes, the habit is called vaping because it produces vapors, all right? Vapors of tobacco, which is why this is how a vaping thing looks like. You can put this liquid into the electronic cigarette and then smoke, all right? So 33% of adult vapes are trying to stop smoking, but they cannot, all right? So vaping is very important because it's not very extremely common in India, but it can be seen in most of the, the school-going children these days. There are a lot of studies which are reported. Now, I'll show you some more pictures which can make it more clearer to you all. So there are pen drive lookalikes in the market these days for electronic cigarettes. So like we have iPhones of different generations. We have electronic cigarettes of different generations. So that's a first generation electronic cigarette, which is called a cig-alike. It looks like a cigarette. That was the second generation, which had a tank attached to it. The third generation is called as a mod. And the fourth generation was called as a pod. Maybe by then, we had iPods. So something like a pod. And just look at these pods which contain nicotine and solution and CBD oil. So these are the ones which are in use now. Don't they look like the simple pen drives which children carry to school? So there are a lot of schools where these kind of pen drives are not allowed because the parent might not know, the teacher might not know. They might think that they're just using all these fancy pen drives, but they're actually smoking tobacco, because these are electronic cigarettes. They produce vapors. That's why they're called as vaping. All right. So I hope you'll not forget that ever. So this is an equivalent to a pack of cigarettes. So closer home, we all know this is hookah. So basically, you find these hookah bars, which are basically the ones which you give. They give you a very, very posh lounging experience. So usually when it is a Saturday or a weekend, you want to go into one of these bars and kind of hang around for an hour. So what happens is, you kind of sit with friends, and they'll tell you that, okay, we'll give you a very separate disposable stuff to kind of pull the tobacco from. All right. And you have flavored tobaccos in hookah bars. But what you don't realize is, first of all these hookah bars are very dimly lit, so you don't get to see what exactly are you smoking, right? So if you look at this hookah, at the lower part of this hookah, you can see that there's a glass chamber, right, which is filled with water. So this water turns black after a while, because three of these friends might have smoked it. They would go after an hour. The same hookah, after changing the tobacco, would be given it to them, but the water might be the same. So what happens is, when you pull up the smoke, the water bubbles below. So obviously, if at all there was any infection in the previous user, you're going to get that too. So no point of just you changing the disposable mouthpiece. The water is not changed. That's going to cause even more harm. Okay. So they say that it is equivalent to smoking a pack of cigarettes, because when you smoke a cigarette, it's hardly for a minute. But then when you sit in a hookah bar and smoke tobacco, it's going to be for more than an hour. All right. So combustion of charcoal is used to heat hookah, and this might pose additional health risks. So having spoken of that, coming to nicotine dependence. So we have some cholinergic receptors in the brain which release dopamine. Dopamine gives you a very happy feeling, right? So a happy feeling can come by exercising. It can give you a happy feeling with many other things, but just not nicotine. But then the people who are addicted to nicotine, that's the way their brains get transformed. All right. So nicotine withdrawal can cause withdrawal symptoms like anxiety, stress, and everything. They can overpower the person. So it's very important to understand nicotine dependence. All right. So the next topic is women who take up smoking. So the first picture you see here is very, I would say it's extremely explanatory. It's well explained here. You can see that she's holding 10 cigarettes together. All right. So that is just a symbolic picture which shows smoking a male smoking a cigarette and a female smoking a cigarette is way too different, because a female body would metabolize nicotine very quickly. So when they metabolize nicotine very quickly, they are more susceptible to addiction, and their body gets affected a lot more, because they can have problems in their menstrual periods. They can have miscarriage, stillbirths, etc. All right. So which is why females should keep away from smoking. Males also should keep away from smoking. But then, having said that, on a relative basis, a relative risk is more on a female body. So in the picture below, you can see how fast people tend to age when they kind of smoke. So if you looking at the Bollywood and the Hollywood stars who all smoke and do drugs all the time, they are just putting it up through a lot of makeup regimes and a lot of plastic surgeries. But that's not health. All right. Holistic health, you need to give up smoking. So tobacco patches or nicotine patches will just slowly release nicotine. It will give the brain that much nicotine to keep itself away from the withdrawal symptoms. So you have to taper down the use of the nicotine patch, and you can quit smoking. So having said that, this is a picture which I kind of I was just scrolling over the internet today, and this is today's picture which I kind of got into Hindustan Times, and they were discussing about World Tobacco Day 2021. So what do you think made me put this picture up? Because I just realized this is all very symbolic. India has become a party to the WHO Framework Convention on Tobacco Control way back in 2019. But can you see the ad there? Free delivery of Rajnigandha. Why? Because there's a lockdown going on right now, but they will deliver it to you home. Free delivery, that's an advertisement. So these are the people who are supporting their page. So whatever the Hindustan Times fellow comes up with, basically it's all symbolic, because they have a lot of money running on them through these companies which basically sell tobacco. So we have banned tobacco for that matter in public places, but we still see people smoking cigarettes happily inside their cars. So they feel that when they roll down their their windows, the car is a private place and it's not a public place, they can smoke away to glory. Then you have smoking spaces in airports. I don't know if you've kind of as a non-smoker, if you've ever been into a smoking area in the airport. I have, just to have a feel of what it looks like. So a smoking area in the airport is like a very closed space, and it's a dingy area where you can, some of the place where I had a look at, they had scary pictures of smoking, and you would just not want to get and stand into it for more than a second, because it has got a very stale smell, very stale tobacco smell, and it's a closed space. It does not have any ventilation. So there is a rule that you have to give a smoking space in airports and hotels or restaurants where you have more than 30 seating capacity. All right. So though we have a lot of prohibition of advertising in mass media, you can see it for yourself how much it is followed in today's world. All right. So coming on to that topic, role of medical practitioners in tobacco control. So why do you think that we should be doing this? Because we need to practice what we preach. First of all, we need to quit smoking. Only then we can kind of tell someone else to quit smoking. So what gives you the idea? So there was this British Medical Journal had come up with a brief presentation where they said that a primary care physician, if he advises the patient not to smoke, you can get a 5 to 10% 1 year quit rate. And a more comprehensive intervention, that is, you can call the patient for follow-up sessions, you can get a 20 to 36% of abstinence. So because of which, that means the patient trusts the doctor. So it is good enough to teach tobacco issues in the curriculum. So a lot of European schools were seen to have a higher rate of smoking, and it was the maximum among Turkish men, that is in Turkey. All right. But in Asia and Africa, it was very low among females, because it is very socially unacceptable for women. So the trend is changing now. In Bahrain is in the Middle East, right? Most of Muslim population. So they do not have smokers. They did not have smokers in the first year of their medical school, but 45% of the students turned into smokers by the final year. So ideally speaking, so you kind of increase your knowledge about the ill effects of smoking by the time you reach to final year, right? So ideally you should stop smoking at that age. But then they saw that no, they have increased their habit of smoking, maybe because of stress, or maybe there's a glamour quotient to it. So there are movies which come up with a lot of these smoking habits, and you must have seen that movie Arjun Reddy, right? So it shows a glamour quotient. So we should stop showing these glamour quotients related to tobacco. So as I said, charity begins at home. We need to first practice it, and only then we can tell others to do it. So China is not a great example to give these days, because the world is anti-China, so are we. So at a Chinese medical university, students sign a pledge. We too sign a pledge. I'm sure you all must have also signed a pledge when you entered your universities, that you would not smoke during their time at the university. As I said, these are all symbolic. But then if found smoking, they were given one warning and they would be expelled. And if faculty were found smoking, they are fined with 1/4 of their monthly wages. So these are small steps which universities have come up with. Now, which is why it's very important to counsel a patient. All right. He comes to you. It's very important to counsel a patient. Our Dental Council of India has come up with a very new idea of having a smoking cessation cell, where you can actually keep a spirometer, carboxymeter, reflotron, and a sphygmomanometer, and tell the patient that, okay, fine, this is my lung function, this is yours. So you can see the difference. But for that, you need to give up smoking first. So, which is why a medical student needs to give up smoking first and then preach it to the patient. So this is an action plan which is actually given by a few universities, as in how to handle smokers. I will not go into the details of it, but you can actually see that you can divide the smokers into not ready, unsure, and ready to quit stages, because everybody doesn't want to quit smoking. Some of them are not ready right now. Some of them are very unsure. Some of them are ready. So to each of them, you have to give a different plan. Some of them, you can give them a short-term reward or a long-term reward. To some of them, you can give something like a date, a goal to you kind of quit smoking. So some of them can take a nicotine replacement, like a tobacco bubble gum or something like that. So different things you can act with all these steps to basically control the smoking habit. Now there is another aspect on economic aspects of tobacco. In the sense, I would call it as a tobacco burden. Yeah. So there's a joke which kind of goes around saying that, why do you smoke? The kind of money you spend on smoking, if you smoke a packet of cigarette every day, say, suppose a packet of cigarette costs you $200, so 200, $300. So if you save that $300 every day, are you not going to save a lot of money, in all these years? So suppose you were smoking since 30 years and you could buy a Mercedes by the end of 30 years. So there's a joke where, the smoker kind of turns around and asks the person who asked this non-smoker, where is your Mercedes? Because you've not been smoking all these years. So where is yours? So having said that, that's just a joke. All right. So you are basically spoiling your health with all that. All right. So health has got a lot of economic aspects. We'll come to that later. So ITC, how many of you all knew that ITC is Indian Tobacco Company? It's part owned by the British American Tobacco, and 77% of the sales, total sales by volume, they dominate the market with this kind of economy they control. And what have they done? Their basic business is tobacco, and now they've gotten into FMCG, fast moving consumer goods. They sell Ashirwad atta, to they sell biscuits, they sell shampoo, Fiamma Devils shampoo. They sell everything under the sun. All right. But they started, their parent company is tobacco. So they still sell cigarettes. All right. So BD rolling, I've already told you. So BDs outsell cigarettes by the ratio of 8:1 in India. So where comes the burden? Now the burden comes in terms of treatment, not only in terms of the money that you spend on buying cigarettes, but also on treatment expenditures. So you have medical and non-medical treatment expenditures, where you pay into a hospital, into the institute. Then the hospital themselves have some treatment expenditure, that is institutional expenditure. All right. Then you also have loss of wages during treatment, that is until death or recovery. Some of them die, some of them go back. So they have loss of expenditure, loss of wages during the treatment. So all of them are actually supposed to be taken as collective expenditure of the patient. All right. So some studies were done wherein direct to indirect cost related to tobacco smoking and the related diseases were kind of taken up. So they found that in 1999, around 277.6 million rupees was actually spent by the Indian government or on the Indian economy due to premature death. And 2002 and 3, it rose to 308 billion. So this is going to be high every other day. All right. So more than 70%, we don't have medical insurance. Very, very less number of people have medical insurance in India. So most of the money that a patient spends in a hospital is actually out of pocket expenditures. So what happens is, if a patient comes up with some kind of a cancer or a long trodden disease because of tobacco, he's going to fall into a debt trap. He's not going to come out of it, because what is he going to displace his expenditure with? He's going to do that with expenditures on food and education. All right. So tobacco has to be taxed. So it is taxed, but it has to be taxed even more. Why? Because tobacco taxes are very low. And if you increase this tax, that money can actually go towards, something like improving the health of these patients who are down with tobacco. And when it becomes more expensive, at least we could see to it that a few sections of the society might stop smoking. All right. So these are different things which governments are following. Now there's something called as a relative risk. I'll come to that very fast. A relative risk which one has to understand about. All right. So relative risk is everything is in relation to something else. All right. There's a non-smoker and there's a smoker. So if a smoker has a particular risk of, COPD or cardiovascular heart disease, a non-smoker has way times lesser risk than, a smoker. So a relative risk of a smoker developing COPD is 12 times higher than those developing cardiovascular diseases. I'm just meaning to say that in a smoker, you just talk about smokers, a smoker has a increased risk of developing a lung disease, a chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, and a 2 times risk of developing a cardiac disease. All right. But having said that, once it is developed, we can see that more number of deaths are seen due to cardiac diseases, not due to chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. All right. So that is the concept of relative risk, which you need to understand when you talk about tobacco smoking. All right. So there is nothing called sinning in moderation, because you can't say that, okay, that's a lesser sin which I did, or that's a more graver sin which I did. There's nothing called sinning in moderation. When it's a sin, it is a sin. All right. So if cigarette is a sin, you don't have any low tar and light cigarettes. You have ultra mild, ultra light, all sort of cigarettes, but they are not any light. They all contain nicotine, and they all are equivalently harmful to your body. All right. So the risk of running a lung cancer increases with intensity and duration of the smoking. So if you have 1 to 9 cigarettes per day, that's a smaller pack of cigarettes, you have a 4-fold increased risk of developing a bronchogenic carcinoma. Or you have a total 1 pack, that is 20 cigarettes, you have 11-fold risk, or 2 packs, more than 2 packs, you have a 20-fold risk of smoking. All right. So, and they say that the cigarette smokers, they never really return back to the risk of having a problem as equivalent as that of a never smoker. All right. A never smoker is always more healthier than a once upon smoker, but still that is a chance which a smoker has to take towards his holistic health. All right. So there was a study which was done, which was published by the British Medical Journal in 2003, where they kind of studied Californians from 1960 to 1998. That's a 30-year-old, 40-year-old study, where they figured out that environmental tobacco, that is secondhand smoke, really did not affect the health. All right. But I beg to differ on that, because this is today's temperature on my phone. I was just trying to check the weather on my phone today. So what did I prominently see? Other than the temperatures, I also saw an air quality, AQI index. This is common in all our weather predictions these days on our mobile apps, right? So you can see that it is moderately polluted, which means tobacco smoke is one. Okay. Other than that, even otherwise, we have a lot of industrial air pollution. So we have poor air quality in almost all parts of our country. So where we have a lot of particulate matter, which has reduced our lung capacity. So by itself, we don't have oxygen to breathe, because we are breathing on dust particles. All right. And on top of that, you're sitting and smoking a cigarette. So you're adding 50 times more the risk to yourself. All right. So which is why tobacco smoke, active and passive, might not give you an immediate problem, but it is definitely going to give you a problem at a later time in your life. All right. And it will give in exaggerative or additive effects. I'll come to that in a while. So coming to that exaggerated effect, I cannot ignore COVID-19 right now. So there's a huge elephant in the room, and that is COVID. All right. So COVID-19, everybody knows that COVID-19 will affect the lungs. And if you already have a lung which is compromised because of tobacco usage, obviously your severity is going to be more. All right. So tobacco cigarette is also a pandemic. Like while starting this talk, I said that yes, tobacco cigarette smoke is a pandemic. It is like COVID-19, but in slow motion. We all have those slow movies in our mobile phones, right? So when you make a video, you have the option of making it on a slow motion or a normal video. So the normal video, for example, is COVID-19. It kills the person in 2 days, but tobacco smoking or a cigarette pandemic is like a COVID-19 in slow motion, and that is going to kill in the years to come. All right. So which is why, but tobacco industry appears unperturbed. We've had people buying in the last lockdown, we've had people buying tobacco, cigarettes and alcohol, giving an extra percentage money in the black market. All right. So that is the kind of strength which these huge business markets have in our society. So the lockdown has definitely increased the potential of fatal diseases. There's a possible loss of employment for a lot of people. There's a lot of insecurity. So which increases the desire to smoke. All right. So if you go back to the financial collapse of 28, I don't know how many of you all would remember, you would have been children, 2008. Tobacco shares were the only shares which increased. Rest all of the shares went down, but tobacco shares never fell. Yeah, because people never stopped smoking. All right. So the same goes with alcohol. The shares will never fall because people never smoke. People never stop drinking. Right. So taxes on tobacco are an enormous revenue for the governments, which is why they are not wanting to curb the tobacco use. But at the same time, the government is not looking at the indirect and the direct burden it is giving on the health sector. So we recently saw how the health system almost collapsed because of the administrative problems. Yeah. And so we need to, basically, these are preventable diseases. So we need to cut down on tobacco usage. All right. So smoking is a hand to mouth behavior. Why? I'll show you a picture. So this is a picture which again I found on the internet, where we know COVID is a contact disease. So you can see one fellow is not even using a mask. The other one is using a 3-ply surgical mask and is still trying to light a cigarette from that. Fine. So they're touching hands, they're touching cigarettes, and they're going to take it right into their mouth, and it is very close to their nose. So why will COVID not spread? So perhaps this picture very well explains why we had a second wave, and that too very common, very fast. All right. So, and other than that, we have this chewing habits in certain parts of India. So we have seen people chewing, they'll just spit it onto the road or onto where they're standing, right? So it contains salivary droplets. So this is a droplet infection. So COVID can spread due to salivary droplets. So I guess I have kind of covered almost all aspects of tobacco smoking. So I would like to, before I finish, I would like to stop with, the theme, WHO theme, commit to quit. All right. And I also saw a chat in the chat box. Shraddha has asked, are smokers at higher risk for contracting coronavirus? Definitely, yes. There has been certain number of studies which were published by some prominent journals like the Lancet, where some of them said that it is not, smokers get a protection out of, coronavirus disease, and they don't reach the ICUs. But it's not true, because later on Lancet found out that a few of the authors in that paper had actually a conflict of interest. They were sponsored by tobacco companies. So tobacco companies have a lot of money, so they kind of create biased researches. So the entire database, maybe there will be some black sheeps like this. All right. So majority of the studies have shown that smokers do carry, because it's an inflammatory disease, so smokers do carry an increased risk of COVID-19. So let's all commit to quit. And before saying thank you, that's my department. So this presentation basically comes from all of us, from the Department of Oral Pathology from BBD College of Dental Sciences, Lucknow. So I would rather say burn calories, not cigarettes. So a big thank you to all of you all for the patient listening. So can I take up some more doubts if at all someone has?
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the wonderful and knowledgeable webinar.
Thank you so much.
Now, we would like to begin with the question answer round. But before that, I would like to remind you all about the Google form that has to be filled for the attendance and e-certificates. Ma'am, the first question which we have received in the comment is, how does smoking affect getting infected with COVID-19 virus?
Smoking, as we all saw, smokers have this hand to mouth habit, right? So when you smoke a cigarette, you kind of hold it in between two of your fingers, you light it. Generally you light it yourself, or maybe you light it from a friend of yours. So there's an amount of contact happening there, right? Sometimes people share cigarettes. Cigarettes are expensive. Most of the students, they share a cigarette, right? And also when they kind of chew tobacco, they kind of spit tobacco like droplets. So these are all, it's a droplet infection. So it's a contact infection as well as a droplet infection. So you can have COVID spreading through all type of tobacco. So there is nothing called as sterile smoking, right?
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, the second question is, relapse among former tobacco consumer is very common. What is your advice to keep them motivated and prevent relapse?
Okay, so I did show a flowchart on how to, help people quit smoking, right? So the ones who have very fast metabolism of tobacco are the ones who cannot quit smoking. Females cannot quit smoking very easily because their bodies metabolize tobacco more faster, all right? So now to quit smoking, first of all, you have to motivate the patient. And you can even go for nicotine patches and things like that, but motivation is prime. You have to motivate the patient, and it has to come from within, that okay, fine, I want to give up smoking, all right? Then you give him an aim that okay, let's try, you can tell him to maintain a diary, a self motivation diary. He can write, if at all he smoked on one particular day, he can write it, he can be true to you. So the next time he comes to you, you can, it's kind of a therapy. He comes to you, you can actually have an idea on how many cigarettes he smoked, how much he's kind of improving. So depending upon what exactly he speaks on, where he's finding it uncomfortable, so there you can put your inputs. You somewhere you'll have to give him some brownie points for not smoking for a couple of days, or somewhere you'll have to appreciate him for whatever attempt he's done. So slowly and slowly you have to, it's not going to be overnight, it's going to be a time-taking process. It's not going to be overnight.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, the third question is, what are the most common oral lesions that can be seen in a smoker?
First and foremost is leukoplakia. Leukoplakia is the most common disease that can be seen along with smoking. Then if you use a tobacco in the chewing form, you can have not only leukoplakia, but also oral submucous fibrosis. So these are the two main things which you find in as a smoker. Smoker's palate is also seen, but smoker's palate is a reversible condition. It will go back. When you stop smoking, it's going to go back to normal mucosa.
Ma'am, does smoking affect the melanosis?
Yes, it increases pigmentation. It does increase pigmentation. Many of them have racial pigmentation, but if you don't consider the racial pigmentation, this definitely has an effect on the tyrosinase. Tyrosinase acts on the melanocytes, right? So melanin pigmentation will increase with smoking, which is why most of the smokers have got dark colored lips. They have very dark lips, and gingiva is also mostly pigmented. Even the dorsal surface of the tongue is very pigmented.
Ma'am, the next question is, some people usually think that smokeless tobacco isn't harmful. How is smokeless tobacco is harmful?
Yeah. So smokeless tobacco, like if you talk about simple pan, you have when you make when you get a custom made pan made from your pan wala, what do? You kind of tell them to add chuna lagane ke liye bolte hain. So that is basically what adds on to the OSMF. But at the same time, how does tobacco affect in that pan? What it does is tobacco leaches out through the epithelium. It basically atrophies the epithelium. So the epithelium becomes more thinner, and the rest of the betel quid and whatever carcinogens can easily leach out through the epithelium into the underlying tissues. But having said that, which is why even if it is an OSMF, oral submucous fibrosis, where there is a collagen problem, you still have developed people coming up with epithelial carcinoma, not a fibrosarcoma. That's because these tobacco contains these carcinogens, and it just leaches down to the epithelium and atrophies it and then forms cancer. So it doesn't need to be just a combustible smoking. Combustible smoking, like cigarettes, they basically more commonly cause lung carcinomas, which is the most common carcinomas in the entire world. But tobacco chewing can cause oral cancers and oropharyngeal cancers.
Thank you, ma'am. With this, now I would like to conclude today's webinar. Ma'am, if would you like to give the takeaway message for our audience?
I guess I've spoken too much. I hope I've not bored you all with a long presentation. I wanted to keep it very short, but I don't know, when I kept speaking, it just went on. So I hope it was. Try to make it light and interesting so that it will remain in you with you. So I
Yes.
would just say that practice what you preach. You stop smoking. You motivate others to stop smoking. Perhaps this would go away.
Yes, ma'am. The presentation was very interesting and knowledge.
Thank you so much.
We gain knowledge. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your valuable time and knowledge and your words. Thank you, all of you, for being such a great audience. Now, I would like to thank our coordinators for this event, Akshita, Rashi, and Priyanka Raman. Thank you. Stay home, stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Shashwat, you can now close the meeting. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you.
Thank you.
Should I end the meeting now?
Yes, Shashwat. Sure.
Okay.